Hey guys, we are back with some more Edmonton Oilers franchise mode, and in this one we are going to continue the simulation, and we are going to also switch up our special teams because the power play wasn't doing too hot, neither was the penalty kill. So for the power play, we are going to be switching Nuge and Dzingel, and Ratty and Bear. That's going to be the only change we make for right now. I want to see how these lines work, as I don't want to stack up either power play lines, so I want to leave Draisaitl and McDavid at the very least separated. That is it for the power play for right now. We'll do the same thing for here. We'll put Bear and switch Ratty, and yeah, I'll leave the forwards the same here. Now, in terms of the penalty kill, we're going to be replacing Jujhar Khaira with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins because Khaira hasn't been great in terms of his defensive ratios, 4-8. So Nuge has been actually really good, 9-4, pretty much the opposite. So we're gonna try him in here alongside of Dzingel. And the next thing we're gonna do for the penalty kill, we're gonna put Matt Benning up here with Adam Larsson and Nurse with Clefbaum. Now the reason for this, Clefbaum actually has more takeaways than giveaways, and he hits. Nurse, not so much. Nurse gives away the puck a lot. He has 6 takeaways, 17 giveaways, and only 12 hits. So I'm hoping that what Clefbaum does sort of cancels out whatever Nurse does on the penalty kill, because we unfortunately don't have too many other options. Their only other options in terms of defensemen are Bear and Jones. And Jones is only a 77 overall, and Bear is the offensive defenseman, so I'm going to just have to trust these 4 defensemen here on the penalty kill. So Benning and Larson, and then Nurse and Clefbaum will do the same thing here. And we'll put Clefbaum on his one-timer. So anyway, yeah, I think that is going to be about it. Really all we need here is our special teams to get going, and for Robin Lehner to get going as well. He's currently rocking it, 891 save percentage. Well, not really rocking it, just kind of unfortunately dealing with it, I guess is a better way of putting it. So we're going to have to get him going somehow. So it appears Ward is starting at the moment. So we'll see what happens in this simulation. And hopefully, if everything works out, we'll start winning a little bit more. All right, so we're roughly 2 weeks into November, and it looks like our star power, our scoring, is actually shining. So we had a rough loss there against Colorado, 6-2. But ever since then, 5-game winning streak. 3-2 overtime win against Arizona, 7-1 victory over San Jose, 5-3 victory over Vancouver, 3-1 over Ottawa, 6-1 over the 13-4-2 Vegas Golden Knights. So I think we'll continue this simulation. We'll go up to the first in the game against Colorado, and we'll see where we are at. All right, so we have ended November, and I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the way this team is simulated. We had 2 losses, a total of 2 losses in that month. Every other game was a win. 2-0 shutout victory against the LA Kings. 5-4 shootout win against the Chicago Blackhawks. 3-1 win against the LA Kings, 4-1 win in the Battle of Alberta against the Calgary Flames, 4-0 loss against the Minnesota Wild, but then a 4-3 victory against San Jose. So as we check our stats, let's see if, first of all, our power play and penalty kill are back on track. So team stats, goals for per game. We are sitting first in our division. 3.24 goals for per game. That's pretty good. Goals against per game, we're still kind of down there, but it's better than before. We had a rough start to the year in terms of goals against. It was like a way above a 3. Now we're at a 2.84, so that's not too bad. Power play was at, I believe, an 18 point something before. Now it's at a 19%, so I mean, it hasn't gotten worse, so that's good. Penalty kill definitely is a lot better. I remember it being around 78, 79. Now we're up to an 82.1. So that was a good idea putting Nuge on there. 9-1 in our last 10. So definitely a much better Edmonton Oilers squad you're seeing right now. McDavid with 24 points. Marner with 22. Nuge 21. Ratty on the third line with 19. Draisaitl with 18. Dzingel with 18. Puljujarvi with 15. Gagne and Nurse with 14. Larson with 12. Clefbaum with 9. Lindbergh with 8. Kara with 8. Bear with 7. Benning with 6. Brodziak with 5. Jones with 5. Larson with 5. And that is it in terms of points. Now, another thing I'm interested in is face-offs. Because I saw McDavid was struggling earlier. He was at like a 49%. So Brodziak is at a 51.1. Decent. Well, actually, it's good. Draisaitl at 50.7. Not too bad. McDavid's back up above 50. That's good. Gagne is at a 47.2. Unfortunately, there's no one else who I really want to put in that spot, so he's just going to have to kind of deal with it. Kara is actually, I believe, worse. Yeah, 37.5 on 24 faceoffs so far. I'll just leave Gagne in the middle on the third line. We've been winning anyway. Hits, Johan Larson with 50. Draisaitl also with 50. Clefbaum with 46. Dzingel with 43. McDavid 42. Benning 39. 37 for Kara. 36 for Larson. 34 for Nurse. 24 for Bear. 22 for Brodziak, 22 for Gagne as well, 17 for Marner, 12 for Ratty, 12 for Jones, 9 for Nuge, 6 for Puljujarvi and Lindbergh. So let's see who has the best ratio of takeaways to giveaways. Of course, it is McDavid, 25 to 17, Nuge 19 to 15, 18 to 12 for Dzingel, 18 to 10 for Gagne, 18 to 17 for Clefbaum. So he's doing phenomenal there. Draisaitl, 18 to 15, 15 to 5 for Ratty, 15 to 9 for Marner, 14 to 25 for Nurse, 13 to 10 for Larson, Johan Larson. Benning is at 12 to 28, Kara, 10 to 16, Puljujarvi, 10 to 7, Adam Larson, 8 to 24, 8 to 23 for Jones, 7 to 15 for Lindbergh, 7 to 11 for Bear, 5 to 14 for Brodziak. And Brodziak also has the only fight of the season so far. Goaltenders, let's see Robin Lehner. Okay, 906. He was at an 891 before, so think about how good he has to have been in order to get back up to a 906. He was at 888 to start the season, may I remind you. So, as of recently, I would guess that Robin Lehner's been at least at a 920, if not 925 or above save percentage. So that's definitely, this is Robin Lehner starting to get back on track, and that's always a good thing. Cam Ward at a 918, he's been steady. So this is definitely, so far, at the very least, a much better Edmonton Oilers team than last year. Now the key for us is to stay consistent, because we actually did have a winning record at the start of last season. I believe it was, what was it? Was it 18, 12, and 4 or something like that? Then immediately we went on a 5-game losing streak, taking us to 18, 17, and 4. And then it just went completely downhill from there. So the key for us is consistency. And if we can maintain that consistency, then it's looking like a pretty good season for your Edmonton Oilers. Okay, so we have ended the month of December, and we are still in a relatively good position. It definitely wasn't as good of a month as last month. We had a few losses in there. Loss against the Devils, loss against the Blues in overtime, loss against the Penguins, a shootout loss against the Wild, a loss against the Winnipeg Jets, and a loss against the Anaheim Ducks, and of course an overtime loss there against Vancouver. But we are 22, 12, and 5, meaning we're definitely not in a bad spot. I would say we're in a playoff spot, actually. Yes, we are. But not by much. So, once again, for us, we need to stay consistent in winning games. And that's really what I expect out of this team for the rest of the year. But before we get back into the simulation, let's check out the draft class. And we'll see who is at the... Oh my goodness. Scouts. Scouts, really? 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 Oh my goodness. It's already January. It is already January. And these guys have, once again, I think like 5 guys scouted in the top 30. Let's see. Morrison, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Manderville. 6, 7, 7. 7 guys in the top 30 by January 1st. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go assign the scouts here real quick manually because they have no idea how to do their jobs. And we'll get right back to the simulation after this. Oh my goodness. Bakersfield player Evan Bouchard has been injured with a mild concussion until February 5th. That sucks. So, about that consistency thing. Yeah, we've been consistent alright. Yeah, consistent in losing for the most part. I don't know what to do, guys. Shootout loss against the Florida Panthers, loss against the Buffalo Sabres, win against the Pittsburgh Penguins, loss against Colorado, win against Dallas, loss against Montreal, winning in the Battle of Alberta against Calgary, loss against Detroit, loss against Florida, loss against the Golden Knights, loss against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and then a shootout win a week and a half later against the Carolina Hurricanes. So, yeah, 26-19-6, all of a sudden not looking too good. Well, I mean, it's still, we're in a wild card spot still, but definitely not in the position that we were before. We were second in our division before, and we dropped a bunch of games. So, let's see what's going on. Because we, once again, got off to a great start, and all of a sudden, you throw a few losses in there, and it's not looking great. Goals for per game, 2.76. That's down from before. We were at like a 2.9 before. Goals against per game, that's surprisingly stayed relatively tame. We're at 2.57. Power play has, again, pretty much the same as when we last checked. 19.4. Penalty kill is actually better than when we last checked. It's at 83.6 now. But our last 10, 4 and 6. So, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the problem is here, just based off the team stats. So we're going to have to go into the player stats to see what else is going wrong here. So McDavid, right off the bat, first thing I'm noticing is McDavid and Marner aren't scoring nearly as much as they should be. So might have to change up something about that first line, especially since they're -9, -10, and Dzingel is a -14. So that first line might need to change up a bit. Draisaitl, however, is +8, so that's good to know that the second line is at least scoring at a healthy rate. 37 points for Draisaitl, 33 for Nuge, 31 for Puljujarvi. Ratty with 32 points, even. Gagne, 24 points. Johan Larsson with 21 for some reason. It's just so one of the better signings that the Edmonton Oilers have made in a while, especially one of the better depth signings. Kara with 18, Klefbom 17, Nurse with 17, Lindbergh with 13, Benning with 10, Larson with 10, Adam Larson that is, Brodziak with 9, Caleb Jones with 8, Ethan Bear with 7. Now that I said Adam Larson, I'm saying everyone's full name. That's going to take up so much time. Shots, let's see. So McDavid's getting a lot of shots, 157. Dzingel 137, Draisaitl 119, Puljujarvi 116. So we have some good combinations here. Ratty with 112, Klefbom 109, Marner 101, Nurse 99, Nuge 79, Bear 78, Larson 72, Gagne 71, Kara 69, Benning 66, Johan Larson 64, Caleb Jones 61. See, there it is again. Lindbergh with 57 and Brodziak 56. Now let's see face-offs. Draisaitl's doing well. Brodziak's doing well. McDavid's doing well. And I wish Gagne was doing better. Hits, you got Draisaitl, only went over 100 so far. It's not a problem. We're only 51 games into the season. Dzingel with 95, Klefbom 83, McDavid 77, Larson 76, Nurse 75, Larson and Kara, Johan Larson with 74. Got to get used to that. Benning with 72, Gagne with 45, so it drops off immediately after Benning and goes to Gagne 45, and then Bear also with 45, Brodziak 43, Marner with 29, Ratty with 25, Nuge with 24, Puljujärvi with 23, Jones with 21, Lindberg with 12. Takeaways to giveaways, so Draisaitl good, McDavid good, Dzingel good, Marner good, Nuge good, Ratty good, Klefbom really good, Nurse, that's good for a defenseman, Puljujärvi good, not good for Kara, Johan Larsson good, Benning not great, Lindberg could be better, Brodziak could be much better, 15 to 31, that's a bit brutal. Adam Larsson, 15 to 45. Jones, 12 to 41. Barrett, 9 to 30. And as far as fights go, we have Brodziak McDavid in a fight. Oh my. I wonder who we had a bout with there. And then Jujhar Khaira with one fight. And then as far as goaltenders go, Leonard, 915. Ward, 928. So goaltenders have been doing their jobs. It appears to be... I don't know what's going on. I think, to be honest, it might start with our first line because McDavid, only 42 points in 51 games. It's not terrible, but we know he's capable of better. So might want to try to get that first line going, especially Mitch Marner as well. He's only at 39 points in 51 games. Now, he did only have 57 last year, so it looks like he's on pace to... at the very least, tie that, or if not, be better than that. Hopefully be better. But it's definitely... he has another gear, and he's not finding it right now for whatever reason. Playing with McDavid as well, so... gonna have to find a way to make that work. So we'll go into Alliance here and see what we can do. So, to be honest, the only change I could come up with was switching Johan Larsson and Jujhar Khaira, because Khaira has been really brutal in terms of... takeaways to giveaway ratio. Johan Larsson has been much better, 29 to 19 or 23 to 19. So I'm gonna put him on the third line, see what he can do with Gagne and Ratty. And in theory, these top 6 lines should work because Dzingel is the nice two-way guy. He's able to get points. He has a good ratio. He hits a lot. McDavid, the goal scorer. The shooter, I should say, 157 shots so far, 18 goals, 24 assists for 42 points. And then you have Marner, who doesn't hit, but he's an assist machine. And 101 shots for that matter. So I feel like these lines should, in theory, work. They're just, for some reason, not working right now. The way that they should. Nuge, he's doing well, 33 points, could be doing better. Draisaitl could be doing better, 37 points. 13 goals, 24 assists. But once again, I feel like these lines, there's nothing to really change about them because any change would just be making a change to make a change. I feel like these lines are good in terms of, at least in terms of the defense, but it's just that the offense isn't going right now. So maybe you think about putting Dzingel with Draisaitl and Puljujärvi, and then Nuge with McDavid and Marner, but I feel like, you know, you need to have that balance with Nuge and Draisaitl on the second line, and then McDavid and Marner, and then you have the two second liners along with the two first liners, or I guess one second liner along with the two first liners, and then another second liner along with another two first liners on the second line. So it kind of balance out the scoring. We will put Nuge with McDavid and Marner if we have to, or Draisaitl even, but for right now, I want to see if the offense can fix itself, see if putting Larsson on the third line does anything good for it. And right now, Leonard and Ward are playing well, so as long as these top 6 can get going, we should be able to start winning again. And our penalty kill is doing all right. Our power play could be doing better, but it's definitely not bad. So again, these guys have to figure out a way to make it work. If not, once again, we'll think about putting Nuge on the first line instead of Dzingel, or Draisaitl instead of Dzingel, but I feel like these should work. So the scouts still have not scouted Lafreniere. Okay. Oh my goodness. At least there's more guys available now on February 1st. There's 11 guys scouted within the top 30, so that's better than last year. But it's yeah, really not the greatest. But let's go at least another couple weeks here, and we'll see what the future holds for the Edmonton Oilers. Okay, so we are here at the trade deadline, and a little bit of a slump after this winning streak that we had here. So we had well, that's last month. So Columbus, we started out the month a little rough. 5-2 loss, 5-0 win against Vancouver, 6-5 win against Anaheim, 4-2 win against Toronto, 2-1 win against Montreal, 4-1 win against Washington. Nice 5-game winning streak there. But we went on a 3-game losing streak afterward. 2-0 loss, 3-2 loss, 5-0 loss. But then, followed up by another 2-game winning streak, 4-2 win against Tampa, 3-0 win against the Rangers. And we're up against the Islanders now. The day before the trade deadline, 33-23-6 is our record. It looks like we could make the playoffs still. We're in a wild card spot, 62 games in, so that's good news. For the most part, we've been scoring, other than those 3 losses, which were kind of ugly. But those were, and the game against Columbus was also pretty bad too. But other than those games, I'm liking most of what I'm seeing. We're still we're first in our division now in goals for per game. Goals against per game has actually stayed, once again, relatively tame. 2.53 goals against. Power play has stayed exactly the same all year, basically. 19.4% still. Penalty kill has gotten better. 85% on the penalty kill now. 7-3 in our last 10. So, do we make some moves at the trade deadline? That is the question here. Well, let's check our point totals for skaters just to get a reference here of what is going on and what is winning us games. McDavid, 50 points. Draisaitl, 50. Marner, 46. Dzingel, 41. Ratty, 40. Puljujarvi, 40. Nuge, 40. So right off the bat, it looks like it's our depth at forward. Our finally a little bit more realized depth that we have. Gagne with 30. Johan Larsson with 25. Klefbom with 20. Kara with 20, Nurse with 20, Lindbergh with 17, Brodziak 12, Benning 12, Adam Larson with 12 as well, Caleb Jones with 10, Bear with 8, and there we go for points. Who's leading in goals? That would be McDavid, 22, and leading in assist is Nuge with 33. Shots, McDavid 190, and then it drops down to Dzingel with 158 afterward. Draisaitl, Puljujarvi, Ratty, Klefbom, Marner, Nurse, Nuge, all guys over 100 shots. Who leads in the shooting percentage department? That would be Gagne with a 16.5, and with at least 100 shots, Ratty with a 13%. Glad I brought him back. Face-offs, Draisaitl is good, McDavid is good, Brodziak is good, Gagne has been better. Not by much, but better. Hits, Draisaitl, Dzingel, and Klefbom, all over 100. Larson is close, 98. 92 for Nurse and McDavid. 86 for Johan Larsson. Benning, Kara with 85, and then drops down to Brodziak with 56. Gagne, 52. Bear, 52 as well. Puljujarvi, 40. Marner with 34. Ratty with 32. Nuge with 27. Caleb Jones with 26. And Lindbergh with 13. Who leads the way for blocks? Obviously, all the defensemen are going to be up there, but in terms of forwards, Nuge leads with 22. Add giveaways to takeaways, or takeaways to giveaways, I guess. If you want to be technical about it. Draisaitl's good, McDavid's good, Dzingel's good, Nuge good, Marner good, Ratty good, Nurse, that's good for a defenseman, Puljujarvi good, Klefbom really good. He stayed consistent all year with that too, 35 to 34. Gagne is good. Kara, he's even, and you know what? He was a lot worse before, so I'm glad we put him on the fourth line. So now he's back up to even. I believe his giveaways outnumbered his takeaways by like at least 10 before. So that was a good decision. Johan Larsson, 31 to 30. He stayed pretty consistent with that. Oscar Lindbergh has been better as of recent, 24 to 27. And then Brodziak, unfortunately, has not been better, 23 to 37. Benning, 22 to 65. Adam Larson, 19 to 60. Jones, 17 to 47. And 12 to 36 for Ethan Bear. Fights, the same as what we last saw. And in terms of goaltenders, Leonard has been consistent, 915. And Cam Ward in 13 games, 937 save percentage. So goaltenders have been fine. Defensively, I think I would like to see some more scoring. We definitely need more scoring on the back end. And as far as forwards go, I mean, there's, for once, a lot of depth in terms of points. Even Gagne, he has 30. Johan Larsson has 25. And obviously, Lindbergh's been pretty brutal. Brodziak's been kind of brutal as well. But other than that, there's a lot to like about our forward group now. And defensively, obviously, we're waiting on Byram. We're waiting on Bouchard. Yamamoto's got to come up as well for forwards. But it's starting to shape up here in Edmonton. It really is. And we're only year number 2, keep in mind. So already looking much better with Robin Leonard, Cam Ward, Mitch Marner on the squad. So I think I'll end it off here for the NHL simulation. We'll check out the AHL real quick, and then we'll officially end the video off. So Yamamoto with 33 points in 50 games, 77 overall currently. Wish he was getting more. What's his ratios looking like defensively? All right, he's good defensively at least. 41-19, really good defensively. He doesn't hit a whole lot, so he's good defensively, and he's going to get you a few points as well. Hopefully that translates to the NHL. In terms of everyone else, I think everyone else is, not a prospect. So we are going to see defenseman now. We'll see Bouchard, 28 points. He is a 78 overall now. He started as a 77 depth defenseman. We're going to leave him in the AHL till next year. We'll see what he is then, and everyone else is not a prospect. So we're just focused basically on Bouchard and Yamamoto. They're doing pretty well for themselves. Let's actually see Bouchard's defensive ratios. Yeah, he doesn't hit a whole lot, obviously. Pretty good ratio here, 23-35. Can't complain too much. Goaltenders, Forsberg, Skinner. Skinner's not doing too great. 898 save percentage in 24 games. And Forsberg, 909 save percentage in 29. So before we end it off, we are going to check the trade block for each team just to see what each team has available. I'm not saying we have a whole lot to trade in terms of going the other way. But if anyone's available, like any veterans who are good defensively, who are on the block and aren't going to be costing too much towards that salary, then we may have to take a look at them. So Anaheim has a bunch of prospects up. Terry, Jones, Guskov, Gruel. Arizona, Jordan Staal is available. And it looks like, his salary was actually retained from the Carolina Hurricanes. It looks like they got him in a trade with Carolina, and they retained nearly, it looks like 50% of his salary, because I believe Jordan Staal's salary is $6 million, right? So that's definitely an option, especially if we retain 50% of that salary. So then Jordan Staal's salary becomes 1.6, but still for 4 more years. So you have to take that into account. You take into account his age, his overall, his potential. Grabner is also available. Girardi, Osterley. Let's actually take a look at all these players who are reasonable NHL players who we could potentially get. So Stahl's defensive ratio is not bad, 41-41. Let's check Grabner. Could be better. Girardi. That's actually not too bad. 69 hits, 26 takeaways to 45 giveaways for a defenseman. Osterley. Let's see him, 21-47. I'd rather get Girardi. And Girardi's on a 1-year contract as well, so that might not be a bad acquisition if we could, especially if we could get Arizona to retain some of that salary. Boston, Buffalo, Scandella. Let's see what Scandella's about. He's decent. What contract is he on? 1 mil for, or 1 year for 4 mil, so I think I'd rather take Girardi just because of the salary. Scott Wilson. See what he's about. Yeah, we have too many of those types of forwards. Trevor Lewis, not even about looking at him. Kostitsin, he was picked by the Flames in the draft, so they're already putting him up on the block. Guess they don't want him. But we're looking for NHL-ready players here. Trevor Van Riemsdyk, not too bad. What's his contract looking like? Not bad either. So he's an option if we want to get a backup defenseman. Chicago, Bodwin, no. Colorado, Barry's on the block. Johnson, Strawman, Sekera, So it looks like Colorado unloading some veteran assets here. Now, I don't know if we'd be able to afford any of these guys, though. We might be able to afford Vanek, especially if we could get them to retain some salary. But none of these guys for sure. Definitely not Strawman. 5 years left, 33 years of age. No thank you. Johnson, 4 years left, 31 years of age, 6 mil. I don't think we could afford that either. Barry, I wouldn't want to get because I don't think we have that much trade value on us right now. And he's on a 1-year deal, 5.5. He's going to want more than 5.5 if we try to re-sign him. Sekera, we obviously traded away. He's making 5.5 for 2 more years. Again, I could see Vanek, not Soderberg, though. He's making too much. Even if we retained half of his cap, it'd still be And just as a point of reference for our salary cap, we have 3.5 remaining, so I could definitely see us potentially going after Vanek. But I would say that's it. Let's take a look at Vanek's defensive ratios, actually. Yeah, he might not be bad. He might not be bad as some cheap depth there for the third or fourth line. Veteran depth as well for the playoffs. Columbus, nope, no one. Dallas, no one. Detroit, Franz Nielsen, nah, his contract's way too much. 5.25 for the next 3 years. Yeah, good luck with that, Detroit. And then you still got Abdelkader's contract as well. Jeez. Erickson, Daly, not even look at them. Florida, Pizik, Sheehan. What about Sheehan? Yeah, I've seen better. Seen better for sure. Mark Pizik. Let's see him. Yeah, I like our... I honestly like everyone on our defensive core better than Mark Pizik, so we're gonna keep looking here. LA, no. Minnesota, Suter and Parise, no. Thank you. Not taking on either of those contracts. Zucker, no. Too expensive. Stahl. Let's see. If you retained half his salary, then maybe. Maybe. He's pretty good defensively. He's got 98 hits so far this year. He's good at faceoffs, 33 points. So maybe Eric Stahl. But the only situation where I want Stahl is if we were able to retain 50% of his salary. Koivu too much. Spurgeon too much. Not McQuaid, Schuster, or Ben. Montreal, no one. Nashville, no one. The Devils, Bogosian. Filppula from the Islanders. Not the best we've seen. Rangers, no. Senators, there's Pavelski, 5.065 for the next year. No thank you. It's a little too much for my liking, even if we retain 50%. Bobby Ryan, no thank you. Bonker, no thank you. No. Yeah, a bunch of hacks here on Ottawa, it looks like. Philly, no. Pittsburgh, no. San Jose, you got Vlasic, but for 7 more years, no thank you. St. Louis, no one. Tampa, so Braden Point hasn't been signed by Tampa. He's an 88 overall first line forward. We already got Point in our Wolfsburg GM mode, and he is a little too much trade value for what we have. We already traded for Marner. We don't need more offensive players like Braden Point. If anything, we need more physicality on that top 6, so I'm going to say no to Point. Toronto, Andreas Janssen has not been signed either. Man, Toronto's really in a cap strain there. I mean, he had a pretty good ratio last year, 47 to 34, 34 hits. What did he do offensively? 32 points. But at this point, we can't even sign Janssen. It's past December 1st, so we would have had to trade for him back in November. And other than Janssen, there's no one here who I really want. They have Calvert on the block, and it looks like he grew. 66. Okay, so that's impressive. He was at a 50 when we traded him. Immediately grew up to a 66. So he definitely has more value now, but we got the better player in Mitch Marner. So he's still going to take another couple of years at least to make the NHL, and I didn't want to wait that long for Declan Calvert. Vancouver, let's see. Louis Eriksson, not taking that contract. No way. Cole, nope. Coburn, probably not. Yeah, he's got that 7 defenseman. He's going to drop. Brouwer, Hayes. I mean, there's better options out there, right? Yeah. No thank you to Brouwer or Hayes. Vegas, Carlson has not been signed yet either. Once again, we would have had to trade for him earlier. Not a bad player, but can't sign him. So, yeah, not happening. Washington, Burakovsky hasn't signed either. Juice hasn't signed. No one else otherwise. Winnipeg, no one. So, you guys have seen the trade block. Let me know what we should do going into the trade deadline, because this is a pretty big year for your Edmonton Oilers. We could potentially make the playoffs, and we do have a relatively good team. It's just the defense that I'm worried about in terms of depth and our fourth line, really, because goaltenders Ward and Leonard have been fine. They've been good, actually. It's just, there's something that isn't clicking with this team. There's a lot that's clicking with it. There's some depth scoring up forward finally. Ratty with 40 points on the third line. Larson was a surprise. But there's something that's not clicking with this team, and I think we need an offensive defenseman, but that is going to come in time with either Bouchard or Byram, or both, hopefully. I don't think that's anything we could trade for at the moment. So you guys let me know, what should we do at the trade deadline? I'll leave it up to you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next one when we finish off year number 2.